it harder to breathe it. In a concrete jungle with the garden is Eden. Yeah, where one poster can hang you with a great speed. Where you can run up on whoever has an 8 seed. Or freeze up South Beach from off the line. Or 4-point plays in Easter overtimes. Let it bang. Serenade round of applauders. Center of attraction like a Hoya.
Oh, this is my guy Sky Zoo, man. Yeah, my guy Sky Zoo. He's
spitting for real.
Yeah, this is our guy. So he remixed the song that Jesse Itzler did back for the '90s Knicks.
Yeah.
So this, he's a day one KFTV guy, and this has been our anthem ever since, man. He's actually coming out with an album next month, so we gotta bring him back on. Absolutely, man. All right, let me run it back from the top. Let's run it back from the top there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good, man. We live, man. You know, you've been on this show so many times, Harp. This is regular for us, man. So
that's right.
We'll start it back from the top. Salute to Knicks Nation. Here we go. Happy Wednesday to Knicks fans worldwide. CP The Fanchise here on another KFTV Live. The Knicks are in Dallas taking on the Dallas Mavericks. And you know when these two teams get together, we got to get with our guy. Once a Knick, always a Knick. He's also the Mavs color commentator for the Dallas Mavericks Sports Network. Derek Harper back with us in the building, man. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. And salute to Harp in the chat, no question. All right, here we go. All right, Harp, morning, man. How you doing?
I'm good, CP. I'm talking to you, man.
Yeah.
Talking to my guy, one of my favorite guys.
Oh, always a pleasure to have you on the show, and glad to see that you're doing well. Knicks and Mavs tipping off tonight, 9:30 on ESPN. Knicks coming
late
in.
Game.
Late game. I didn't even realize that until we just got on. But hey, 8-5 for the Knicks. Coming in, a new look Knick team. Were you surprised with the Mike Brown changes? I mean, you've seen him a lot out west with the Kings and with the Lakers. So
Yes,
what's your impressions of Brown and the Knicks?
I have always been impressed by Mike Brown. He's played for some Hall of Fame coaches, mainly in Golden State with the Warriors under Steve Kerr. Mike is how do I describe this guy from my perspective? He's a savant of the game. He loves the game. He has some San Antonio ties, of course, and just a student of the game with his own little flavor, if that makes sense to you. I think he's done a fabulous job this year with this Knick team. It's not easy to come to a team that's heard one voice for such a long time under Thibodeau, but I thought it was a good hire. I just think he has the resolve to kind of put things in his own words, if you would, and he's done that with this team. They're more balanced offensively as a team. He has Robinson playing incredible basketball, and I like the Knicks. I think they have a chance. Late come springtime, I think the Knicks will be right there. Although there are some really good teams in the Eastern Conference, I think we underestimated the East this year because guys are playing. Atlanta is playing well. Chicago is playing well. So
how about Detroit?
Detroit
played well.
Detroit, I mean, forget about it. They have been good for a long time. They're just healthier now, and they look really good.
Yeah, and you mentioned Brown, his offense. He's coming in here with the motion offense, similar to what Golden State's running. You guys in Dallas with Jay Chirano, he's running a motion style offense here.
We're trying to
try. Yeah.
We're the worst team in the
That's right. At least that's the goal. But at least with the Knicks, especially offensively, you're seeing a different style than what they were under Tom Thibodeau. I mean, the ball movement, they're getting their paint touches, spray out for three. What have you thought about their change in style?
I like the style. It's not just the ball movement, but it's body movement as well. And we're getting better at it. The Knicks really caught onto it quick. I think mainly because of Jaylen, him being such an astute point guard. I think they've been able to catch on and move the ball and he's unselfish anyway. And the cry was the ball is in his hands too much.
Right.
Even though he knows what to do with the basketball, I thought the style it's refreshing. And not just for the players, but I think for the fans as well. Just seeing the ball and the body movement, the hopping of the ball from side to side of the court, that's always fun basketball and always more entertaining as far as I'm concerned. And I'm kind of surprised that they've taken off so quickly with it, CP, because it takes time when you change something like that. It's not just an overnight sensation, right? So I think so far so good for him. We'll see how it works moving forward.
Yeah, especially with Brown, and he's preaching quick pace, quick decision making, and really not running too many plays. He wants these guys reacting off of instincts and be able to play off of each other. But it seems like they picked up very quickly, and I was surprised about that. There's a lot of naysays with Jaylen, and he's got the biggest adjustment, and they've got to take the ball out of his hands. I didn't think it was going to be that big of an adjustment for Jaylen. He's always shown the ability to adjust. You saw him there with the Mavericks. He went from bench player to starting alongside Luka Doncic to being without Luka Doncic. Like, Jaylen knows how to adjust in any environment.
Well, you tell him, CP, to worry about what they're going to do for Thanksgiving. Don't worry about Jaylen Brunson because JB can ball, man. He can adjust to anything that's thrown at him. That's why they're great players and they're just mediocre guys, because the great ones, you look at LeBron James last night. If you watch any of that game against the Jazz, he's got to adjust. He has to adjust. I mean, a huge adjustment.
Yeah.
One of the biggest adjustments of his career. And he will, because he's a smart player. He's a very unselfish player, had 12 assists last night. Jaylen is in that same class with the Knicks team. So I like it for JB. But if you notice, the ball will always find your best player if you play the proper way. If you notice, the ball is still finding him in spite of, people saying he holds it too much, he needs to move it, he needs to do that. He's too good not to be successful as a player.
Totally agree, and he's questionable to return in this matchup tonight in Dallas.
Man, I'm hoping he plays.
Yeah,
honestly.
Likewise, and this is coming from last week when he injured his ankle against the Orlando Magic, and Harp, as of late, the injury topic and the load management topic is risen again. Steve Kerr last night talking about the Golden State Warriors. They've had a heavy travel schedule and the pace of play, and this is leading to some of the increases in soft tissue injuries. What do you think about that?
I have mixed emotions. You're talking to a guy that didn't start flying private planes until like my 10th year in the NBA. You know what I mean? So I'm accustomed to back-to-back travel the next day, get up and go play someone else on their floor. But I'm not a doctor, KP. So it's a real sensitive subject, I think. I don't necessarily agree with it all the time, but because you're cheating the fans when you don't play back-to-back situations. Load management is that. It's taken away from the people that pay you, basically, because they don't get to see their favorite players because of that load management situation. So I understand it, though. I understand trying to err on the side of caution in those situations. You don't want an injury to linger throughout the year, and we know that can happen too. But if you can play, and Jaylen Brunson is one of those guys, if you can play, you go out there and play. I've always been one of those old school guys that was afraid to miss a game, if you would. So I never really got into all of the we're going to rest Kawhi tonight, we're going to rest James Harden tomorrow night, that kind of thing. I'm just not a fan, period.
Yeah, totally understandable. It's hard to find a direct link or a direct correlation. I do think the questions are valid when you think about, again, the style of play. Everybody's moving at a breakneck speed, and then the travel.
Trying to play fast.
Right, and back-to-backs. And some people are saying, hey, maybe shorten the season a little bit. You played an 82-game season. It's always been 82 since I was watching. I don't know if that helps. People also think, hey, these guys are playing more intense basketball from the AAU levels now on up. So it starts at an earlier age, more mileage. Hard to really pinpoint it.
Well, and even with that, they have trainers, they have massage therapists, they have stretch coaches. I mean, there's just so much that you would think it would keep players healthy and able to play consistently, if you would. Just not the case. I think what needs to happen, and I'm being facetious, They need to go back to eating McDonald's before games. You know, like Ocho Cinco says, he eats McDonald's. That's his pregame.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, but and like I said, I'm not a doctor. I don't know how all of that stuff works. But if you're either injured or you're hurt, if you're injured, then obviously you cannot play, and that's what the doctors are going to tell you. But just again, I'm just one of these people that believe some kind of way. I don't think 82 games is too much either, and that's just my personal opinion. I think the guys that are in the Hall of Fame, they played 82 with less. Not worse sneakers. They didn't have all of these new wave sneakers and all of that.
Changing sneakers, every quarter.
You know what I mean? It's just, I think it's goofy, man, to be quite frank with you. I don't like it. I think the game should be played just like it's been played for a long time, even though I'm aware that things change, time changes, and all of those things. But if you can play, man, go out there and play. Give the people what they want.
There you go. Once again, we are talking to the great Derek Harper. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Throw number 11 in the chat to salute Derek Harper. I know, JB's rocking that number 11, but we gotta throw number 11 for Harp, because when he was wearing the orange and blue, he was number 11. I always say the original number 11. People try to correct me, but whatever, man. and when you mention this team, one of the things that's been a stark improvement so far, and these guys have really been picking it up, is the Knick bench. You saw Jordan Clarkson quite a bit when he was in Utah. He's come to the Knicks now. He's led the league in bench points over the last 5 years. He just passed Vinny Microwave Johnson for, I think, 10th all time in bench scoring. And
didn't know that.
Yeah, and Clarkson last 4 games or so, he's about 14 points per game. The decision-making's been pretty good, which is my key for him. But the shot-making, to me, has been very important for the Knicks.
I just think off the bench is a perfect role for Clarkson. The guy's played a couple of places, Cleveland, played with the Lakers, played in Utah, and has always been able, Casey, to get buckets. That's what his specialty is. And you put a guy that skilled from an offensive standpoint, because you just alluded to it, he can get buckets. I don't care. There's not many people that can come off of a bench and go head-to-head with a guy like Clarkson, can shoot the three, can stretch the floor, can get to the rim. Surprisingly, he has a post-up game. He has all sorts of game. I'm sure people have been surprised at him being in the East and the West for such a long time with Utah. I'm sure he's opened some eyes to people, Knick fans, the way he's been able to do what he does. He's a specialist, and I think will easily be the best six-man this year.
Well, one of the more interesting stories to start the year has been Karl-Anthony Towns. He came out in Knicks training camp when they asked him about how he's adjusting to Mike Brown's offense. At first he said, man, I have no clue what my role is. And then he's starting to play better, especially without Jallen Brunson. Knicks win over the Heat. He had 39 points. And then they go to Miami, and it's like the guy who you saw on Friday night, it's a completely different guy. He's getting into foul trouble, some of the more undisciplined play. And so Karl-Anthony Towns, he's so much of a confounding all-star, if you will, because some nights he's all-world, and then other nights it's like, man, what happened?
Yeah, I think that's what all players in this league they're looking for is consistency. I always say that how you know a guy is really solid as a player is whether or not he can back up a 20-point game consistently, and he hadn't been able to do that. I think when you're a go-to guy on a team, you don't have to chase shots. You're going to get shots, and he's good enough, talented enough, if you would, Casey, that he should bump into 20 points a night. He's going to get to the free throw line because he can work off of the bounce and things of that nature. But it's mental. I just think a lot of it is your psyche, man, how you approach things. It's basketball. It's not rocket science. You go out and you're aggressive and making things happen, you're going to get to the free throw line. You're going to get your shots and your looks. And you should, if you really want to win, sacrifice a little bit too when it comes to shots, because they're in it to win it. The Knicks, they almost have to win a championship this year after firing Tibbs. And, I question the leadership level of some players. I mean, is it about you or is it about everyone collectively? And if it's about everybody collectively, then you're not worried so much about your shots and your game. Just play within the system and let bygones be bygones. Let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, it's certainly a good point, and he's going to be the key to their championship hopes. So,
Absolutely,
you need,
there's no doubt. He along with Jaylen. I mean,
sure.
As much as you want the ball out of his hands, you want it in his hands too, because he was the clutchest player in the league last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Captain Clutch, the reigning NBA Clutch
Yes.
Player of the Year, the captain of the New York Knicks, and having tremendous success. So can't wait to see if he plays tonight against the Dallas Mavericks. 9:30 tip-off, ESPN National TV game. And Harp, when we talk about your Dallas Mavericks, obviously there's been a lot of news in terms of the Mavs, most recently firing their GM Nico Harris. How did you react to the firing of Nico?
It was tough. I like Nico. He's a good guy. Excuse me, Case. But the minute, if you go back to the trade, right? If you go back to, I guess it was January, February of last year, I'll never forget. I was at home and my phone kept ringing, and I finally picked it up. We were sitting down playing backgammon. I got to somebody. I thought it was a joke. Somebody said, "Oh, they traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers," and I'm just like, "Man, get out of town!" Hung up the phone, went back to what I was doing, and I kept hearing it. And when it became official, I still didn't believe it. But the minute that happened, Casey, I thought about Nico, and I thought about the front office and what was going to happen with them in this city. I know the fabric of Dallas. And when they find someone that they love and adore the way they did, Luka, I knew it would be at some point where Nico would be in trouble as a GM. Not that he's done such a bad job, that trade. I think they could have gotten more for Luka than they got, but that trade was shocking to everybody in sports. Baseball players were interested in the story. Football players, all sorts of fans, hockey fans, they were all interested in that trade and why it happened the way it happened. And, you hate to see somebody, I'm not an advocate of someone losing their job, but to me, it was inevitable because the fans, they started fire Nico. That's a distraction. I don't care how focused you are, how tough you are mentally in handling different scenarios, but that, to me, I expected it. It didn't surprise me whatsoever because of who Luka is and what he meant to the city of Dallas and around the Metroplex as well.
Yeah, it seems like it became an untenable situation, especially, look, the season ticket holders, these are the investors of the product.
What are you without your fans?
What are you without your fans? And then you have the players trying to play under that. I'm sure you as an analyst, you're hearing it in your ear when you're trying to call these games. So it seemed like it was a lose-lose situation for everybody.
Yep. It was just a matter of time is what I say. And quite frank, like I said, I don't celebrate people losing their jobs in any capacity. But when all of that started, like I said, I had no doubt that they were gonna let him go. And it's not to say that he's not good at his craft, but as far as the Metroplex is concerned, they weren't gonna have it. They were not gonna stop. They were gonna constantly, make the noise and get what they really wanted, and that was Nico out of Dallas. So, he's a smart guy. He's a respected, I think, in a lot of places. And I think, and I hope and pray Nico lands on his feet. He will land on his feet because he has some things going for him.
At the same time,
outside of that trade,
for sure,
the trade of all time, man.
For sure. And at the same time, there is a glimmer of hope in the number one pick in Cooper Flagg, a guy you've been watching since the season started. Point forward Flagg.
Yeah.
Last 3 games, 17 points per game. He had a couple nice clutch moments in their win against the Blazers. What's been your impressions of Cooper so far?
I like Coop. He's 18 years old.
18.
I would have everyone to remember that. And, first of all, he's not a point guard. Let's clear the air on that. I don't think you can put that kind of pressure on a 6'9" guy that's played power forward all of his career and played it pretty darn well. The fact that he can impact a basketball game without scoring 20 points every night, I think is his biggest asset as a player. But he plays like an older player to me. He knows where his spots are on the floor. Clearly going to have to get better as a perimeter shooter, shooting just 28% from the three-point line. But I think all of that will come. He got off to a slow start shooting the three because he was trying to run the team. And as a result, it's just carried over. But it's just a matter of time for him that he gets to show everything that he can do. He can rebound the basketball, about 6-7 a game right now for us. But 15 points is nothing to sneeze at as a rookie in this league. And that 15 that he's averaging, CP, he's earning them every single night. He really is. Guys are coming after him. He doesn't back down, loves to compete, which I think is half the battle when you're young, like he is, 18 years old. It's on-the-job training for him. And I think the fact that he's going through some ups and some downs like most young players do, later on will pay dividends for Cooper Flagg. I'm a fan of the kid. He's smart. He knows how to play basketball. And now that he's at his natural position, he's starting to come. He's starting to figure some stuff out. He's starting to understand that he doesn't have to just launch threes. Late in games now, J-Kid is going to Cooper because he can back little small guys down. He can get around bigger guys and make some plays for himself and for other guys. So I like him. I think he's going to be a star in this league. I don't know about superstar because I think by nature, Cooper wants to play the right way. He could put on that me uniform and get 30 a night. But what does that look like? What does it look like? I think he naturally wants to play team basketball. He always has.
And that's one of the impressive things about him to me. And you mentioned at 18 years old, he almost plays like a vet. I mean, not too many guys who are coming in, unless they are a point guard, have that responsibility of having to run an offense at 18. I mean, you maybe think about LeBron being the last, wing to have to do that. So for him to come in and be thrown into the fire that way, 18 years old, that's pretty impressive for me, man.
I've been very impressed. Just the way he carries himself. He doesn't shy away from questions. And, after the game, a lot of young guys, they don't want to talk to the media. They kind of shun him away, if you would. But he's right there. He's answering tough questions. I teased with him the other night before the Portland game, man. It's about time you take over this stuff, isn't it? And he looked at me like, are you trying to start trouble? Or what are you talking about? And I'm like, yeah, man, it's there for you. You got the injuries with Anthony Davis and Kyrie. So they've been losing a lot of games late. I said, man, get the ball and just go. Do your thing. Yeah, and he's starting to figure it out. I think long term, he's going to be great. Yeah. That's all I can say.
Well, what do you think the biggest adjustment they'll have to make? We'll see if and when Kyrie comes back this year. What do you think? Because, I mean, obviously the expectation was, coming in, you would have Kyrie, AD, and Cooper. But Kyrie gets hurt and then AD's hurt now. Who knows if Kyrie comes back, but certainly another adjustment for Flagg to make.
I think it'll flow a lot better because then you'll have a guy that can create for other people as well as anybody in the league. Kyrie has always been up there in assists, 7 to 9 assists a game. He knows the game, and the biggest thing with Kyrie being out right now, he's sitting there every single night, getting an opportunity to see what is going on with this team. We can't shoot right now. We shoot 30% from the three-point line this year after, 14 games, 13 games, whatever it is. And I think Kyrie being on the floor will change that because he demands so much attention, if you would. And he's a smart player. I mean, there are not a lot of smarter players at that point guard position than Kyrie. I think things are going to smooth out for everybody involved. If Kyrie comes back and he's close to 100%, the Mavericks might take off then. Hopefully, we hadn't dug a hole so deep that we can't climb out of it.
Yeah.
But Kyrie does wonders. I mean, he puts a Band-Aid on so many things.
And as it relates to tonight, I would have to assume, Bridges gets that first assignment on Flagg, but the Knicks are down OG Anunoby. Behind that, you have Josh Hart, but they don't have too much wing depth. They have a lot of unproven young talent in Mohamed Diawara, Pacome Dadier, two of their most recent draft picks, but those guys haven't even been able to get much run. I think that's one area the Mavericks could have the edge over the Knicks is kind of in that wing depth, even though the Mavs are shorthanded themselves.
It's something about playing against New York. Of course, it's the mecca of basketball, so I don't think we'll have a problem getting up. And the energy is always there with this team, shorthanded or not. My question is whether Lively and Gafford are going to play. If they play, I haven't seen yet. If they're active, I think Dallas has a good chance as well, because I think they can dominate the paint. They're pretty good defensively. You defend, then they can defend, rebound, and get out and get some easy buckets with those big guys on the offensive glass. So I'm looking forward to it. I love when the Knicks come to town. You see so many orange and blue jerseys up in there. And it's nothing like it. And, the Knicks, the Lakers, the Bulls, there's certain teams, man, that you look forward to calling or just being around that particular game in itself.
For sure. And that was another thing I was going to ask you. One thing I noticed was that Dallas is the fourth-ranked offense in the league right now. So even though fourth-ranked defense.
Yes, sir.
So even though the offense has lagged way behind, what do you think has been the key to them being formidable defensively so far?
Defense is a mindset. They have some real athletic guys that, that defense fits their personality. Marshall is a guy that gets up in you. PJ Tucker Jr. is another guy that I love on the defensive end of the floor, can guard multiple positions, if you would. And they just have some horses. They have those two bigs. And the biggest problem for Dallas, Casey, I'm going to put it to you like this. Injuries have really depleted us as a team overall. Mm-hmm. But defense is what we have held our hat on, because of, again, the individual personnel that we have on this team.
There you go. And speaking of Dallas, we talked about Mark Aguirre getting his jersey retired, man.
Yes, sir. I'm so happy for him, man. I'm a Mark Aguirre fan. If there was no Mark Aguirre, I doubt if there would be a Derek Harper at the capacity and the success that I had in the league. I owe a lot of it to him. Man, I used to stay at Mark's house, drive his cars. So he became a superhero to me when I first got into the league, just a year and a half apart. But it'll be a great night. It's happening January 29th, right at the American Airlines Center. We play the Charlotte Hornets that night. And it'll be a show. It'll be a big party for Mark, somebody that I think deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. If you look at his numbers, now you can go personal and all of that stuff. What people do, how people alienate other people off the court, that's their problem. You know what I mean? Because they're not angels in the league. You know what I mean? Guys make mistakes. We were 20 years old when the Mavericks and Mark went through their separation. We were young pups, so you may say things, you may do things that offend people. But I'm glad that Patrick DeMont and Rick Welch decided to make that move. I was at a function one night, and all of those guys were there. I know Rick was there, and I just pleaded with the organization to retire his jersey, because if my jersey is there, Rowe, Dirk, no particular order, Brad Davis, if we're there, then there's no damn doubt that Mark Aguirre should be in there look up his numbers. I wish we could throw up some numbers on what Mark Aguirre did his first 8-9 years in the league. He was a automatic, dominant offensive player, man. He could put it in the hole.
Yeah, we can look it up right now, man. We got the internet right in front of us, Harp. No problem.
Put it right in front of me.
No problem. There you go. Dallas number.
Yeah, man.
29 and a half points per game in the 83-84 season. 25.7, 22.6, 25.7, 25 again. Three-time All-Star with the Mavs.
Two-time champion.
Two-time champion, man.
Should be in the Hall of Fame, CP, is what I say. If you go on, the best way to gauge a supposedly great player is ask his peers.
Yeah, right.
Ask Larry Bird, ask Bernard King, ask Dominique Wilkins, Alex English, all the guys he played against and with will check that box because he was a superstar in that day.
Well said. And, we recently lost just last week Michael Ray Richardson.
Yes, sir.
We had a great show earlier last week. We had a great show. Chuck D came on and Michael's co-author who wrote a book with Michael Ray Richardson. What do you remember your memories going up against Michael Ray when he was with the Nets and you were in Dallas? Let
me tell you something, man. I was young back then, right? Yeah. And my head coach at the time, Dick Motta, he pulled me out early one game, and it was against the Nets. And I'm puffing and huffing and puffing, going to the bench and throwing my towel down. So Coach Motta asked me to come and sit by him. He says, "Let me tell you something. That's a fucking grown man out on that basket." He said, "I'm saving you from yourself. He would eat you alive out on the court." And being not young and naive, I didn't want to hear it. You know what I mean? I just wanted an opportunity. But Michael Ray put fear in people's game. I mean, he did it. Owned Magic Johnson. Magic would vouch for that. He gave Magic a lot of problems. And he was one of those players, man, that he was really, it was kind of hard to figure him out because he would push the ball at you. He could shoot it a little bit. He did a lot of damage in the paint with his size. And Michael Ray Richardson, man, was one of the all-time greats. I loved watching him. I loved the tenacity that he approached the game with. And you too young. He would tell you with that real quick, you too young to mess with me. You can't mess with me. And I'm looking at this dude like I hadn't heard of him a whole lot. Yeah. But man, I got to know who he was quickly, up close and personal. A lot of nights working against him. Yeah, it's as Magic said, the one player he hated to guard. Yes. A lot of people likened his game to Magic, his size and the passing ability. He wasn't the only one that didn't want to see Michael Ray. Once again, we're talking to the great Derek Harper. Salute to Knicks Nation. Everybody throw number 11 in the chat to salute Harp. You got the Knicks and the Mavericks tipping off tonight, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN National TV Game. Mark, I mean, Harp, speaking of stats, man, I was looking at your stats the other day, and I found it very interesting. The 94-95 playoffs, 57% from three, Harp. I mean, you had the Cleveland series, you go 7-10 from the field. I mean, Indiana series, you red hot. Did you remember being in that type of zone during the playoffs? I was definitely in a zone. I tell people all the time, man, I was ready for the finals so much because it was a dream. When you're a kid and everybody thinks that's a fairy tale, they just some made up stuff. When I was a kid, man, I used to be outside on the court, Harper in the NBA Finals, just singing, calling my own stuff. You know what I mean? So psychologically, I was ready to go. And I'm not good at talking about myself. I always tell people my game, my numbers, all of that stuff, they speak for themselves. It speaks for itself. You know what I mean? I was walking in the arena the other night and some little kid said, "Hey, Harp, blah, blah, blah." And then one of the guys he was with said, "Yeah, you used to shoot it." And then the other guy said, "You couldn't shoot. And you was a good defensive player." Yeah. I said, man, Google me and leave me alone.
Look up their
You know what I
numbers.
mean?
That's it.
But
That's
you
it.
just called out some numbers that this little kid probably don't know anything
Yeah,
about.
I
So,
said 57% from three,
Yeah.
14 points per game in that run. Yeah, it fell short against the
I
Pacers.
was freed up.
And he semifinal, but 57% from three, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it
there,
was
Harp.
good times. I
Yeah.
was ready to go. That's all I can put it on, man. It's just I saw a moment to be crowned a champion, and there were little things that kept us. Every time I talk to you, we talk about this. There were little things that kept us from winning. I'd probably still be in New York hanging out with you, Case.
Yeah.
If we had pulled that one off in '94.
Well, that being said, the question is, when will we see Derek Harper at Madison Square Garden in the Legends Lounge? You know, I tell you about this all the time. We go to the games, we go to the playoffs, the Captain Patrick Ewing's up, everybody's waving the towels, and, you know, Starks is in there. We need Harp at the Once a Nick, Always a Nick barbecue with those guys, man. What do I got to do, man? Who do I got to talk to?
You don't have to do anything, Case, and the Knicks don't have to do anything that they hadn't done. I love that organization. They've always been good to me in New York. Sooner or later, I'm going to have to be there. I really came close doing their run last year. I had a lot of opportunities to be there. My boy John Starks is always reaching out, trying to get me in there. It'll happen sooner than you know, Case. I'll just put it that way. I don't want to lie to the people, you know. So sooner than later.
Sure. And
love New York.
And as fans, you know, I always, even when you're coming on, man, I get the flashback to the playoff starting lineups. Mike Wilczewski. I mean, he has a booming voice for a PA announcer, but that series, the Indiana series, conference finals, the entire MSG waving the flags, it was so loud in there, he had to scream your name for the starting lineups. I mean, there had to be no other atmosphere like that when starting lineups. He played for a number of teams.
I'm not kidding. Right now, I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you start talking about those flags waving and all the different stuff that went on before games, that was, Dallas drafted me, so I'm always going to have a soft spot for the Dallas Mavericks. You know, they hired me. I work for them now. So this is my place. But, man, when I tell you my life changed, when I played those 3 years in New York, everything changed. I mean, the whole flow of my career went in a upwards direction, and I'm always honored to come back to New York. Clyde is still there, my favorite player growing up as a kid. Nothing like New York, CP. You from there, you live there. I mean, there's just, what can I say, man? There's just nothing you can say about New York to do it justice. It's a great place to put on a uniform, a great place to go out and play in front of the best fans in the world. I missed it when I stopped doing it. I missed that garden.
Yeah, nothing like it, and for fans from that time, we'll never forget it, man. So once again, we appreciate all those great memories and appreciate you coming on and being a friend of KFTV, man. Definitely appreciate the time.
Anytime you call me, CP, Casey Powell, I'm going to be there.
We there, Harp. So keep in touch. Good luck tonight, and thanks again. We'll catch up down the road.
I look forward to it, Case. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. Once again, that was Derek Harper, the Knicks legend, man. Once a Knick, always a Knick. Salute to Harp, door number 11 in the chat. Harp, I'm going to call you after this. I'm just going to wrap up a couple things on the show, and then I'll give you a quick call. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, man. Never disappoints, man. Shout out to Harp. Never disappoints. Salute to everybody in the chat. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Salute to my franchise channel members for tapping in. Will Latimer, happy birthday, Will. Coach Rubens, I see you in there. How you feeling, Coach? Good to see everybody on this Wednesday. John Talento, never forgive action. Lee Blocks, I'm checking in from the UK. Lee, how you feeling? Knicks and Mavs tipping off tonight, 9:30, late game. I thought I'm in my 7:30 flow. You know, people are talking about this load management stuff and all this players getting used to it. I got to get used to the time change. You know, that's a late start, a late post game for me, and just got to do it just to get there, man. Like Robert Randolph says, you know, just do it just to get there. But great show, and obviously as of today, we await the news on the captain, Jaylen Brunson. Will he play or will he not play tonight against his old team? I got to think he's going to play. I think Cap's going to play. He's a dog. He's a warrior. And we've been kind of leading up to this when we saw him warming up against the Miami Heat. So it seems like he's good to go. It didn't really seem like a crazy bad sprain just by the looks of it. Clearly, I'm not a doctor or orthopedic surgeon, but when Cap went down, it didn't look that bad. And then people started panicking when we heard that he left the Garden with the walking boot and the crutches. Little do we know, we brought on the expert. We brought on Dr. Adam Bitterman on post-game show against the Heat on Monday. If you missed it, we clipped it up and put it up on the channel. You can catch it on the channel. He said that was absolutely nothing, just to keep the swelling down in a precautionary measure. So it seems like Cap is good. Grade one ankle sprain. A lot of fans say, don't rush it, don't rush it. A lot of fans are a little bit nervous because, yes, there is a risk of re-injury. So Cap has to be a little bit careful there. But I think he'll be all right. Talento says he rests him one more game. Maybe tonight when you're going up against the Mavs, and maybe you save him for Saturday against the Orlando Magic. I can understand that. Scott Engel, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. So we will await the word on Jaylen Brunson. All right, how's everybody else feeling in the chat? Hope everybody's feeling good. Great conversation with Harp, man. Absolutely great conversation with Harp. That was one of my favorite Knicks, man. And you know, the thing about Harp was when I was a kid and watching those teams, as you see Starks the dunk right there, the original poster. But when I was a kid watching the Knicks and that 93-94 season, and they made the trade for Harper, that was really the first ever trade that I could remember. And I didn't know what to expect. Like, oh, man, who's this new mystery guy? I had no idea who Derek Harper was. We didn't have cable back in the day. So when Harp comes in, it's like, man, who's this new guy? How's this going to impact things? We got Doc Rivers here. What's going on? And before you knew it, he became a fan favorite. As he said, hit so many jumpers, clutch jumpers for the Knicks, big shots. Could have been the MVP of the NBA Finals had Starks not had a nightmare game. We won't have to rehash that history. But Harp was the guy, man. That was the first trade I ever remember. And I said, wow, this is incredible. This guy comes in, and he's right in with the identity. Grit and grind, physical, tough, the hand check king. You can't get around him. Stalwart, defensively, tough as they come. That was Harp. You kids at home, you do your research. Do your research. If we had a ring celebrating 90-94 championship and you kids were here, that guy would have been the reason. Just understand that. Bronx Guard said there was cable back then. I said I didn't have cable back then, sir. I didn't say there was no cable, didn't exist. I didn't have that. I wasn't bougie like you, sir. So just saying, I was relegated to basic cable, to basic TV, channel 2, to channel 13. That's all you got. Maybe you get channel 55, and maybe if you turn the antenna one way or the other, you might pick up something from like out-of-state public access or something. That's all we had. A shout out to Harp. And shout out to our friends at DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours, man. All your favorite NBA players are back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. Hey, new customers, use our code KFTV. Bet $5 and get 3 months of NBA League Pass so you can watch those Knicks. Plus, score $300 if your bet wins, paid out in bonus bets. Once again, that's by downloading the DraftKings Sportsbook app or go to DraftKingsSportsbook.com. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Your bet must win to receive the bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. NBA League Pass auto renews until canceled. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. All right, we are here. And sounds like we have a special guest here on the line. Somebody just called my phone and interrupted my live show. And we have the Knicks chick on the line. Knicks chick, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm in a deli. I'm live.
Yes, you are live on KnicksFanTV. Please salute the chat, salute the replay gang, and the Fanchise channel members, please.
Good afternoon, most especially to the Fanchise channel members, but salute to everybody in the chat, on the show live, and everybody that tunes in later on replay game.
There you go. Knicks and Mavericks tonight. Is the captain playing or not? What do you think? Give me your thoughts.
Oh, he's the captain. I think he's coming in.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
He's coming in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of fans, worried, and a lot of fans worried. They think he's rushing it. What do you think?
Oh no, put me in that category. I'm also a little worried. As much as I would love nothing more than to have our captain back, I do think that's actually a winnable game without him, and I would love to see him get as much rest as he can. Obviously, that's we don't know what's going inside, but the more time you give your body to heal, the better. So if we go in without him, I don't see why not. I would hope that they would at least limit his minutes if he comes in tonight. So that's probably the best move that they could make, and I'm sure they will.
Yeah, I think so. And then, hopefully he plays on Saturday against Orlando. We will be in the building. We got a big meetup going on. The KnicksFanTV meetup in Orlando is looking crazy right now. But hopefully Captain is back. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it to all the arenas and haven't been to Orlando yet. So very excited about this trip. Very excited about the upcoming win. Yeah. And we need him for that game. Like Orlando's a tough team. I've been saying that since last year. People are finally seeing them at full strength. So Orlando is nobody to play with. So I would much rather have him at full strength that game. So hopefully comes in tonight, gets a little run, limit his minutes, and then he's ready to go for Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando's not playing games. They just handled Golden State at home last night. They got a little physical. They got a little chippy with them last night. It was pushing guys around. So Orlando's looking kind of swagged out right now. We're going to have to cool them off on Saturday.
We will do. Us and all the other Knicks fans, I'm sure, will be in attendance. We'll do that, too. We'll definitely help be the sixth man off the bench.
We're going to be in there heavy. But anyway, it's good to hear from you. I will give you a call. Right now, I gotta make sure, I got to check on my Wayfair order and make sure our holiday stuff came in, or it's coming in time so we can get the house in order.
You better, because, as soon as Thanksgiving's over, that's when I get into decorating mode for the red and green. So let's get to it.
Absolutely. All right, so I'll call you back. I'm checking the order. I'll call you right back.
Have a great show. Bye, everybody.
All right, see you. All right. That was the Knicks chick checking in. Impromptu interview and reactions about tonight. Shout out to my lady. She's on her lunch break. She should have been listening to the interview with Harp. I think she was. She was probably calling to, give me feedback and stuff like that. She always does that. So shout out to the lady. All right, salute to everybody in the chat. And as we said, man, shout out to another one of our sponsors of the day, and that is Wayfair. Head over to wayfair.com for all of your holiday decorating needs, because I'm telling you, everywhere I look now, we've literally skipped Thanksgiving altogether. I'm driving down my block. I'm seeing all these zombies and aliens and everything for Halloween, and now all of a sudden it's Christmas jingles and lights. I'm trying to keep up, especially when you got kids. It's like, man, don't drag me into this too early. But nevertheless, for all your decorating needs, head over to Wayfair. They literally have everything you need for your home decor, every room in the house, whether it's the bedroom, the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, whatever you need, man, head over to wayfair.com. Fast and easy shipping, especially on the big items. And that's one of the big things, especially when you're shopping online. And so Wayfair has you covered. Head over to Wayfair, check out their Black Friday sale. Looks like they're having up to 70% off on certain items. So head over to wayfair.com. That's wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Okay. Great show. So you guys know the deal tonight. The lineup will be game time, 9:30. And then we'll see you here. Number one show for the fans, by the fans. Number one post-game show. Highlights, analysis, live callers. The only show with live callers, as well as sound bites from the game from the Knicks locker room. Will Captain Clutch play? We shall see. But either way, man, thanks for tuning in. Thanks again to Derek Harper. We appreciate you. And thanks again to my Fanchise channel members. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats, and I did. Shout out to Cruz, 1113, number one in the chat leaderboard. He said, had to tell the boss, relax today. It's KFTV time. Shout out to Cruz on the lunchtime grind. That's right. You let him know when you're on the grind. Listen, I work hard. It's KFTV time. You can wait. Nah, don't say that, but no, listen, man. Yeah. You know, just duck away. Just sneak out, go for a walk a little bit. Tap in the number one show for the fans, by the fans. So shout out to everybody on the grind. Shout out to all my Uber drivers, my delivery drivers, my Amazon drivers, everybody in the MTA, operating the Iron Horse, the buses, people that we need, the everyday people that we need to keep us going in this society. All right, so we'll see you guys later. Thanks again, DraftKings Wayfair, for sponsoring today's show. Keep it positive, keep it productive, people, and we'll see you later tonight. Peace.
Lights get even brighter than you'd ever believe.